Welcome to the future.
Who's this clown?
Not clown, Joker.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Nobody tampers with the equipment except Tony Stark.
Good idea.
United, the Avengers are strong.
Hawkeye, hands off.
Fool! Have you forgotten my invincible magnetic power?
Not this time, Magneto.
My mutant brain senses danger.
Something unseen is slowly spreading its poison, edging tempers.
Think carefully before you do this.
You filthy criminals.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ah ha 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 ha. Welcome to issue 84 live here on YouTube of Two Fat Guys Pull Us. It's been a minute. Sometimes we're in Mexico, or wife has her appendix taken out, or just it's just been weird. But we are here finally live to review our books. Jim's even got new glasses, and they look kind of funny. I think they look weird. I'm still getting used to them. My eyes look like flat. I don't know. It's weird. Maybe it's just me. Anyway, we are glad that everybody who is here in live. We are glad that anybody and everybody that's watching this as a past episode is here as well. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, either comment in chat or comment on the past video if you will. Let us know what your pick of the week was this week and why. Why did you pick that book? Because it was an interesting week. It was shorter, at least for me. I know you had a couple more books than I did. But I
did, but still,
it was pretty light.
Called that a pretty short. Eight books.
Yeah, and next week is super short. I think you have 5, and I have 6, and I have 9. I think maybe even less than that. So it's we're getting to that point where we have a couple weeks of just kind of really small weeks, but then in a couple weeks, like 2 weeks, we've got a mountain of a show coming.
Yeah, the end of the month is going to be trouble.
Crazy. But let's take care of some business as we always do, and that is let's talk about BradyComics.com and Collected Comics and Games, which is our sponsor for Two Fat Guys Pull Us live shows and our new comic book day videos. If you want to, go over to BradyComics.com and type in Two Fat Guys Pull Us, which is that we have an upgrade. We have this premium and standard upgrade over there, where when you decide to go over there and buy some comics, or back issues or games, toys, collectibles, pops, graphic novels, whatever your poison is. Once you're done buying those books or putting them in your cart, you can type in the Two Fat Guys Pull Us in the search bar, and our upgrade and premium upgrade will pop up. Now you're probably asking, Jim, what is the premium upgrade, or what's the upgrade? Well, if you buy the upgrade, which is it puts it in your cart, and you will get one mystery exclusive comic cover with the regular upgrade for $8. If you do the premium for $15, you get 2. Now, most of these covers, these exclusive covers, range anywhere between $15 to $20, sometimes $30, and it's all random, obviously. But you can get covers like this awesome Moon Knight, black, white, and red, Silver Surfer Rebirth. Yeah, this Ghost Rider, Red Sonja, Harley Quinn, Miles Morales, some really good looking books. So, and these are just some examples. There's a ton of them on Brainy Comics that you can actually check out on the exclusive and variant cover tab. And you may actually get one of these randomly if you put this upgrade in your cart. So head over to BrainyComics.com, buy some comics, buy whatever you want to buy on Ron's website. And then make sure to add our Two Fat Guys Pull Us upgrade or premium upgrade before you leave, and you will be getting some exclusive comics. Now, just to give you guys a heads up, Ron is in the middle of a move into his new store, and so he's a little behind on his Brainy Comics orders, but do not fret, do not worry. They are coming if you have already ordered. Ron will get on top of it, but we're moving an entire store from one part of the street to the other side. I actually helped him out on Friday, and man, we got a lot of work done. I was only there for probably an hour or two, about 2 hours, but they were moving stuff. I was actually, I helped Lee put up some of the graphic novels on the new shelves, and they've got a lot of work to do because we were just kind of putting them on the shelves. And so Lee's going to have to go in there and actually alphabetize, and yeah, it's going to be rough, but it's getting done. The new spot looks amazing. And also The second location for Collected Comics and Games has also moved, and I know that they are very proud of their new space over there with Brent. So if you are in the DFW area, make sure to check out Collected Comics and Games. They are in new spots, bigger spots. Game nights are going to be awesome. New comic book days are going to be awesome. And just hanging out at the shop is going to be great. So if you're in the DFW area, check it out. The other piece of business that we always talk about is our subscription giveaways. We're in the middle of a sub giveaway to 650. When we hit that 650 sub goal, we will be giving away the CBCS 9.8 graded Daredevil number 25, second print, first appearance of Elektra as Daredevil. That was a mouthful. So when we hit 650, we'll do it. We are 30 away. We are 30 subscribers away from giving away that book. So let's get it done, guys. If you know anybody that's into comics that isn't currently subbed to our channel, make sure to share our channel out to the masses, to your friends, family, strangers. I don't care. Just get them to subscribe so we can give away this slab. And then the obvious ultimate goal, we're giving away the CBCS 9.8 graded Amazing Spider-Man issue number 4, first appearance of Silk, when we hit 1,000. And we want to do this in 2022. We believe that we can do it. We're manifesting it. Let's do it. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers so we can give this bad boy away. That's it. So let's go ahead and talk about our. Hold on, I gotta push this button. Then I gotta go to this. Okay, we're good. Yeah, let's get it going.
Oh, M&M's. So it's like, what is this?
Oh, we read a book about M&M's. Let's talk about the chat really quick. Definitely looking forward to DC more. Jaden. Stefan says, "What up, dudes?" My hype vote will always go anything X-Men. Thank you, Stefan. Patty says, "Hope Mexico was great, and I hope that the appendix didn't hurt too bad. Been there, done that. Absolutely horrible. No, it sucked. I'm sure Mexico was fun though.
It was. I could have sworn that I got COVID because as soon as we landed, I had like 102-degree fever. I was body chills, body aches, pains, headache, stuffy nose, boogers, everything. But
Jeez.
turns out it was an upper respiratory infection combined with sun poisoning. So
Sun poisoning?
yeah, because I got a sunburn on top of a sunburn on top of a sunburn.
Oh, dude. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, that's a thing. That's actually probably what caused the fever. It's not the
Right.
upper respiratory infection.
Well, that's
I basically
neat.
got burned by the sun so bad that my body thought it was on fire and put it into a a fever.
I know you like X-Men books. I know you like Fantastic Four books, but you can't be Sunspot. You can't be the Human Torch.
Fuck. I want to be. If anyone of any of them, yeah, Sunspot would be my number one pick.
Average Joe says Judgment Day is a triple threat with their big hitters, and Dark Crisis is an event for the AAA characters. Correct.
Ooh,
I don't know how I would vote. I know I put this up in the polling voting, but I don't know how I would vote because I'm looking forward to both. Patty says glad to hear your LCSs are expanding. Yep, it's freaking awesome. Joe also says after Shadow of the Bat storyline with the Batman coming in and fixing the issue quickly, how are the background characters going to handle the Crisis event with all their flagship characters dead?
We're gonna touch on this a little bit too.
Okay.
When we get to Green Lantern.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Perfect. Jaden says can't stay for too long. Got work at 6 tomorrow. I get that. Queeku says, what up, all? Excited for both Judgment Day and Dark Crisis, but leaning more towards Judgment Day because I'm a little worried that DC is going to do another full-line wide relaunch once it finishes. You're probably right.
I hope not.
And then Patty says, oh, man, ouch, that actually hurts. Yeah, not super Inferno. Yeah, you were on fire, dude. Hoping Dark Crisis opens the door more for more Yara Floor. Is that who's that?
That's the Wonder Girl.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Hey, that sounds dreadful. That does sound horrible. Yeah. Anyway, that is the chat as we speak. Let's get into our pulls this week of April 13th. And we always kick it off, whoops, wrong button, with our X-Men books. And we have X-Men issue number 10 from Gary Jerry, Pena, and Pepe Larraz on the cover. I feel like Gary Jerry did exactly what I wanted him to do and said he was going to do in our new comic book day video, which was refocus, recenter, and get some things into perspective, in my opinion. And I genuinely liked the book. I like where we're going. I think I will say this: Pena is rising very quickly into becoming my new favorite artist. You know, right up there with Pepe Larraz and RB Silva and all of them.
He has the classic Hoxpox era feel to his art. Like,
I agree.
You know, a lot of people fit that mold, even though their styles are different. I think Marcus Toe is a great example of one too. Like, his art just feels like X-Men post Hoxpox. But yeah, I think you're right. I think Pena's like already cemented himself in the top.
For 7. Sure. Yeah, he's doing a great job. As for the issue, I do have one. I don't know if it's minor or a critique, right? So let's go into the storyline. We've got someone has been captured that has adamantium infused within their skeleton by Orcus, and their body is on Phobos, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Wolverine is basically saying, I need to go up there. I need to retrieve whoever it is. And a majority of the X-Men are like, don't do it. And she's like, fuck you. If you get in my way, I'll stab you. Whether it's with my hands or with my foot, I don't care. And she goes. And she saves a mutant Deathstroke, right? I think is it Deathstroke or Deathstrike?
Yeah.
Deathstrike. Who is, an adversary of Wolverine, has adamantium within, her skeleton or whatever, but is being poisoned by the adamantium. And she is saved. She's brought to Krakoa, yada, yada, yada. Great, right? You would have to be a fool for that not to have been a trap by Fei Long and Orcus, right? They did something to her to get into Krakoa and cement something, whether if it's infecting what's it called, Cerebro or the island or what. I don't know. I'm just saying this storyline ended so quickly of saving this mutant, and it was like, wait a minute, but where's the hook? Where's the oops? There was a bit of me that got transported into the island itself. There's something going on, and I guess I'm a little frustrated that we didn't get that hook at the end of the book, right? I was waiting for that to be like, bum bum bum, she's a double agent, right? Because we're getting a lot of that in Destiny of X.
Yeah, we really are. It's seems to be a big thing.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say yes. To that extent, I definitely agree that the Deathstrike sort of part of the storyline sort of seemed like okay, and I think I might have been frustrated if what happened in the end didn't happen, which was Rogue goes and they're like, hey, we still need to take care of this like game world situation, and she calls up a pal, and it's motherfucking Rocket Raccoon. Yes.
And he's at Game World, like,
get me, and he's literally at Game World. He's like, yeah, I know where I'm there. I mean, I know where it's at. It's like, I don't know. As soon as you bring in any Guardians characters, I'm 100% there. I feel like this book also felt more Jerry Gary than it has in previous issues, with his like humor and like silly anecdotes. Like, by far my favorite part of this book was the part where Rogue smashes out of the tree so fast that she obliterates every single X-Man's eardrums, and they all have to go to the medical bay to have their eardrums replaced, because
that was pretty dope.
She literally blows out all of their eardrums. Yeah. I just thought that was a remarkably funny anecdote but also like it makes sense, right? Like, and also like, I don't know, this part just excited me too much. Like, it shows you a glimpse of like Rogue's actual strength. I don't think we have ever acknowledged Rogue as a Omega level mutant, but I almost feel like that's kind of wrong, or at least I'm too much of a Claremont reader, because she basically could do anything she wanted at any time during his run. But that Stefan, he said the Rocket Gambit scene will be great. if we get to see them together.
For sure. And then just getting to chat, as much as I want to get Hickman out of my mind, these X books need to be at least bi-weekly.
I think it's about to.
I feel like it's about to be.
I don't know if it's about to be, but I think it's. I think we're gonna have a whole new reset, and so like we'll see if it'll still feel that way after our reset.
Right. Let's see. X-Men doesn't seem to have that, or seem to have that where we are going with all this. 5 to 6 books, and there still isn't an end goal. Somewhat. I think Nimrod being the forefront will be wasted because I don't think Hickman wanted this villain to be the big bad. I also where the hell are the Sentinels? Like I would expect an evolution or something.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're getting. I see what you're saying there. I think we're gonna get something of the sort with Moira being AI, and clearly she's already making contact with Orcus. I've got a theory that she is the Omega Sentinel that was traveling back from the past in Hickman's books, and we're just getting a generation between it. I think there's been some ground being cemented. Now, is Gary Jerry going to be at the forefront of that in the X-Men book? I don't know. We don't even know if he's going to be on the book after the summer. We've kind of hypothesized that he may be out after the summer. I
don't know.
It remains to be seen after the gala, but I feel like
I would say that the only reason why I feel like he's not is because he's writing this year's gala book.
Okay, well maybe that's it. But it remains to be seen. We'll get solicitations for June probably this week, and you'll hear from us what we think about that. But who knows? Kuka says, I've enjoyed what Gary Jerry is doing with X-Men instead of a 6-act structure. It's like a mega 12 arc with things slowly coming back in. I don't think they actually brought Deathstroke back to Krakoa. I need to reread it then. I can't freaking wait for the... Yeah, you read that. I want Captain Krakoa gone. Not interested. Maybe they'll change my mind, but hopes are low. I want M on the book for some interaction with Laura in sync. Kuika also says, I think they took her back to the Central Park base. Also, the thing Destiny is teasing about Gambit, do you think he'll die in Otherworld, and that will be what the cause of the big change in Rogue? That's highly probable. I think we could make an argument that Rogue, being an Omega, since she's the only power-borrowing mutant I can think of who has actually been able to permanently keep a power.
Oh, that's true too.
Yeah.
See, yeah, I think she's Omega level, and we just are making a mistake, man. That's okay.
Stefan says Spider-Man kind of suffers from the bi-weekly schedule. I'm cool with one book, X book per week. But it's not even bi-weekly. When they get into these events, it's like every week. When they get into those 0.5 issues, those are just awful. And then Slam says the thing I am looking for are the Sentinels that we saw in Hoxpox. Those looked badass. Seeing the evolution there is what I want. I also want to see main X books to be bi-weekly. Yeah. I mean, you never know. I mean, if they can get to a sweet spot where they can actually do that and it makes sense, because I do think like Spider-Man, like we understand why they go bi-weekly, right? Because they sell. People are going to buy Spider-Man. Everybody loves Spider-Man. Right now, X-Men are kind of in this weird pocket where there's a lot of hope, and also deservedly so. I think what cemented it? There was a book that we were like, Immortal X-Men with Karen Gillan. Like he set the stage for there's something to be excited for, whereas Benjamin Percy kind of was like, we'll get into that later. Anyway, either way, I enjoyed the issue. The art really helped it. I think Gary Jerry is getting like Wiki said, I think he's getting back on track to bringing in everything that he introduced in the first, I'd say 7 issues, 6-7 issues, where we had like all these different storylines, and then we started kind of whittling them down into one core platform for the X-Men.
I would say that my only complaint, and we're kind of getting far away from a review of this singular issue now, but I will say that in the grand scheme of things, comic book readers, especially in today's market, look back on issues or look back on like volumes, like no one really looks back on like, oh, do you remember how the Jerry Gary X-Men run fit in with the Reign of X schedule? They're just gonna look at, oh yeah, do you remember Jerry's Volume 6 X-Men? And as its own, if you just were to pick up, say it's gonna end at 12 issues when Hellfire starts, it's gonna get a 12 issue, hardcover. And if I just handed you that, it would be bad. It would be really bad.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have the context of anything else that's going on. And I understand that's what we're doing here in this market of X-Men right now is, hey, it's all tied together, and if you want to come along for the ride, come on. But like for the main title, I feel like we should have a little bit more singular guidance, but also like we're on issue 10 and not a damn thing has been resolved.
No.
But all that being said, I enjoyed issue 10. I thought issue 10 was a good issue.
Mm-hmm.
So
For sure. All right, jumping into another X book that's kind of more just nostalgia based. That's X-Men 92 House of XCII. And I liked it, but I'm not really going to give a review.
Oh.
Well, here's the thing. It's fun. It's got me all. It does have me very nostalgic for the cartoon. The idea of that universe playing in Hickman's Hoxpox. But there's definitely it's definitely fan fiction, right? Like it feels like fan fiction. And I don't know if it's because, and I don't think it's the artwork. The artwork doesn't bother me at all. It's very cartoony. That's the point. But I just remember reading Hoxpox and being like, oh my God, this is just like on another fucking level, right? Like, we're going from like superhero comics to like, I don't want to say, man, this is an adult themed, but I mean, it was just, there was so many aspects to Jonathan Hickman's Hoxpox that like, politics, geopolitics, now space politics, like human rights and like just all this shit that just hit it all at the same time without really saying it, right? Like you could connect the dots in your brain. And in this one, it's like, yes, but because it's a 5-issue mini, they got to wrap it up. They got to go quick, right? And so like the establishment of Krakoa is in this issue, and then there's little cool nods, like Krakoa looks more like the Krakoa from Giant Size X-Men, right? So it's all, with the scary teeth and the beady eyes. It's more present. It looks more of like of a personality rather than an island that has a vote, like in current run. And then the person who is the Moira in this book is Jubilee. Jubilee is the one. Yeah, it's really weird because essentially Krakoa is formed out of because of her death, right? And she's actually alive. Like that's the secret. And so Xavier and Magneto are hiding the fact that Jubilee is still alive, and because that's the base of the nation being created. And I'm kind of like, well, no, you created it. Now you can just bring her back or just show her and everything would be fine. So it's kind of on shaky ground, but in overall, I enjoyed it. I just don't think I'll be reviewing it, or at least not in an extensive base for the show, just because it's just fun, rather than it being, ground shaking for the current Destiny of X run. You know what I mean? So now you never know. They might be like, this is an alternate universe for the multiverse of madness, and watch the movie. Now it's coming. I don't know. Anyway, it is what it is. It was fun, and I'm probably going to continue to read it. Like I'm going to pick up issues 2, 3, 4, and 5. But I just don't think I'm going to do a mass. I'm not going to give it a lot of attention, if that makes any sense. So, yeah. All right. Next up, we have Eternals, issue number 11 from Karen Gillan. I enjoyed this issue a lot, but I will say the artwork wasn't bad. I'm just,
Yeah.
it's kind of a downer. I'm just saying.
I didn't really have a problem with it. I was just like, I saw that it wasn't Ribic. It was just like, okay, whatever. I'll get through it.
Right.
I really liked this issue. This was very close to being my pick of the week.
Mhm.
I think this issue had all of the things that we love about this run of Eternals. It's got the snarky wit and humor of the computer, and I think we did a lot. Like, we had a lot of plot movement in this, but it made sense.
Mhm.
I don't know. I enjoyed it.
No,
it didn't bother me.
it just parts. I was like, I just miss Assad. Like, I wish Assad had been on this book, so we could have seen, like, Athena, like, getting the gauntlet from Icarus, just like boom. Like, I just felt like there would have been more weight to it. But that's very short-sighted. Whatever. But yeah, this whole getting ready for Judgment Day and Ajax just losing her shit in this book and essentially desecrating her god, put that in quotation marks. And I feel like I know where we're going with this, outside of the revelation of the Eternals being told that the mutants are deviants, or considered classified as deviants. And that's that they, or at least Ajax is still in this mindset that the Celestials are their gods. Right? And like, if you're reading this book as a new Eternals reader and someone who's watched the movies, you would assume that they would connect the dots like they did in the movie, where they realize that they're literally just tools. They're a mechanic. They're not anything else but something the Celestials use to terraform planets and create new Celestials, right? And I feel like that's coming at some point, I would assume. We're seeing the connection with Shang-Chi and the movie, and bringing in Tao Lo into the comics, with the first appearance within the actual comics. So I think we're going to see that as well here, where Ajax is finally going to like realize that her worshiping Celestials really doesn't make any fucking sense. And I think that might be the actual, I'm going out on a limb here, that might actually be the payoff for Judgment Day. Them realizing that they don't have to listen to the Celestials. They can fucking go rogue.
Nice.
That's kind of where I'm at. That's where I'm at with it.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, I especially like that this issue felt like we are a really good balance of all of the things that Kieran Gillen has introduced so far. We've got the Celestial God complex issue. We've got the every time an Eternal is resurrected, a human dies, so now they feel more protective of humans, and the Thanos problem. And and the fact that all three of those storylines that we're messing with were addressed, and I think appropriately looked at, I think shows how strong of a book this is and how well it's written.
Yeah, and I also had the thought, with Thanos being in this book, is, where I just feel like Karen is much more connected to the Marvel offices and other writers than I think we're giving him credit for. I feel like Eternals is going to have a heavy connection into Donnie's books. We've got the death of Thor coming at some point, where he is going to be slain by Thanos, wielding Mjolnir with Infinity Gems infused with it, and a black gauntlet that looks awfully suspicious to what's his name? The god of the symbiotes. I can't believe I'm miffing on that. Null, right? I just feel like we're moving in that direction with what Karen is doing in this book, which is Thanos is trying to figure out a way to not, figure out how he was created so he can nullify that, right? And that might be with destroying the world. Like, that's a potential goal for him. So I think there's a lot of connectivity in this book that a lot of people aren't giving it enough credit for. So it's definitely coming. Kicking back to chat, Quika says, I feel like the paper shortage hasn't helped the relaunch of the X books since the new books would have come out by the end of April, but now I think it will be the end of May for all of the first Destiny of X issues to drop. Stefan says, I'm with Nate with this. I still save the Nostalgia Act spot on with the pull list for Silver Surfer Rebirth. Sam also says, Hoxpox pushed the idea of what are you willing to do to be seen, respected, or feared. It was still X-Men, but without the guidance or structure for the rest of the books. All of it seems like fan fiction. Average Joe says, this is my first run I'm doing with the X books. Reasons are you guys got me hyped with your conversations. Feels like the play in their own world, even though they are part of the 616. Sweet. Books like X Factor, Excalibur, Drown the X Line along with the Children of Adam. I will agree with the Children of Adam. It didn't do anything to push the series, the narrative forward. It would look, if we look at Original Sin, the Hickman Avengers run. Yeah, Children of the Atom did not play out the way I think it was intended, and you're right, it was not good. It was fucked by the pandemic, but also I think that even if it had come out earlier, I think it still would have fallen flat. I loved X Factor. I think you're right when you say it didn't necessarily push anything forward in the world of this post Hoxpox. I don't think it did that, but I loved the series. I thought it was great. Excalibur, though, I think was pretty impactful on pushing forward. I think once
the middle half of that book, like issues like 7 through 15 or so,
right,
for its impact on Ten of Swords. But
once we got through 10 of Swords, and then past that, it really it cemented that for sure. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Patty says, I dig this cover, like the blue. Aaron Paul says, Judgment and Eternals will be the only reason I come back to Jason Aaron's Avengers run. I can see that. Quickie says, Eternals isn't the same without Ribic, but a lot of interesting stuff. The idea that Thanos will now have all the standard Eternal powers is scary to think of. Loved Kingo acting like a villain. Yeah, that was pretty dope. Feel like if mutants equal deviants, it is actually true and not a lie by Thanos or Druig, then Ajax is definitely going to go full evil in Judgment Day. She has already regrets not killing the prehistoric Avengers. That's right. Yeah, this is our show historian. Like, Kwiku's I think you're right about the post-Judgment Day Eternals will be more about them starting to move away from worship of Celestials. Maybe the book will go. Cosmic, we'll see the Eternals in space for a while. Well, I'm down with space. It seems like we're moving into space a lot with a lot of books. Last week, Marauders went to space, and I thought it was fucking awesome. Just the way they did it just felt very, like, almost anime-esque because of their starship.
Yeah. Have a good night, Jaden. See you
later, Jaden. And then Average says, go for it.
No, I was just going to answer Average Joe. No, I don't think Thor's going to die in this event. We're talking about, if you've read the first arc of Donny Cates's Thor run, he essentially, the Black Winter lets you see your death, and he sees a black gauntlet, what am I trying to say? Gauntlet.
Fitted,
wielding Thanos with holding Mjolnir, wielding the Infinity Stones again, and that's how he dies. And so we know that's like looming on the horizon, but we don't think that's part of this Judgment Day event.
And Thanos is surrounded with Marvel zombies around him.
Yes.
And the stones are infused into Mjolnir. So
into Mjolnir itself, yes.
It's about to get epic. Like that's a definite Donny Cates like epic move. Like we've seen some epic moves from Donny, but that's like way like that's Cosmic Ghost Rider Thanos wins style shit. Like that's huge. Seven says Marauders in Space is awesome. No, it's fucking amazing. It's a really good issue, and we didn't get to review it last week, but it was very good. So that is it for Marvel. Let's jump into DC with Batgirls issue number 5. I don't want to say I was dreading this issue, but No, and I'll tell you why. Because we talked about it in issue 4. It's like we're just setting up new character after new character after new character, and I can't. It's not that I can't keep up, but it's just like, hey, can we just like pick one, take it out, go to the next one, take it out. We kind of did that in this issue, where we took we took out 2 birds with 1 stone. I think for me, and I think I said this in issue 4. We've finally broken this cycle of like, this is the Batgirls, this is Batgirl number 1. This is Batgirl number 2. This is Batgirl number 3. We live in this apartment. This is our car. We like to eat ramen on Wednesdays. We think our neighbor's a murderer. Okay, let's get to the story. Like, it felt like we were just continuing from issue 4. What? Shut up. We continued from issue 4 and we just pushed the narrative further, which I liked. And I liked this new villain who's got a connection to Babs. Thought the artwork was fantastic. The coloring in this book is great. And it flowed a lot better than issues 1, 2, and part of 3, in my opinion.
I will agree with that part. I will not agree with the weird semantics of the introduction.
Look, we don't need to introduce the characters every goddamn time we get a book. Like, they do that. Go ahead.
It's stylistically, it's like emulating like a John Hughes like 80s movie. Like it's a style.
I don't like it.
Oh. I really enjoyed this issue. I think this book, to me, I'm always excited because I almost always start my DC reading with it. 1, just because it's alphabetically, but 2,
right.
I know this is the book I know month in and month out is going to be a silly goose time, at least for me. Yeah. And so I know that I don't have to be worried about remembering the intricacies of a plot line that's just twisting and turning, and trying to keep up like I do with Eternals. At the same time, it's like driving my favorite part of the DC world, which is the Bat family. And I really enjoy these 3 characters specifically. And so the fact that I get this much of them, like, can you imagine like how little we'd get of these characters if this book didn't exist?
Right.
And that would be such a bummer. So,
well, that's the other thing I wanted to talk. I think we kind of, I don't know what book. I think it's going to be in Green Lantern that you're going to talk about it. But I had this thought. I'm sure we'll continue it in that part of the review. Is I'm worried about Dark Crisis and the characters that will be filling in. And who asked the question? Was it Kliku or was it Patty or was it Joe? Somebody asked something about like, how do you think they're going to deal with it? How the new characters are going to deal with their new roles, right? With the Justice League being dead. And my fear is, and I'm going back to Detective Comics in the most recent run that we did, where we did 12, right? Was it 12 issues for the event? And I don't think I'm going to have a problem with it. But DC fandom, if you're in here and you're more seasoned than us, will you be disappointed if after Dark Crisis, and we're going to be talking about these characters specifically because they're going to be holding the mantle. Some of them may not be Justice League, but we think, right? If that's the case, are we going to be disappointed? Are you going to be disappointed that if DC just says, all right, these next 6 months or however long we're going to be doing this, pulling this rope, will you be disappointed if it's going to be a learning curve? You don't have time to hit the ground running, figuring out the situation in Crisis, right? So, like, take Detective Comics. Robbie's main criticism was Batman would have gotten that done in 2, maybe 3 issues. Like, he would have just been like, I'm Batman, I know how to figure this shit out, right? But the Bat family, they had to come across all these books to figure it out and get it done in 12 issues. Will we run into that same issue with the entire DC universe when our main players, character A's, are gone?
Well,
will it frustrate you?
There's a lot of questions.
Sorry.
I would say no, because I disagree with Robbie completely. I think his assessment is incorrect. I don't think Batman would have had that figured out in 3 issues. And I think that if you have if you feel that way, that is either your own personal bias or just a problem with the writing, with the way that Mariko Tamaki wrote it. But I think that the obstacles that the Bat family went through were valid obstacles that any hero would have gone through with Batman there as well. So no, I don't think that's a good assessment. Two, I think the majority, I don't think that there's going to be a big learning curve, weird sort of figure it out for a lot of these characters, because most of them are going to be legacy characters that are going to be around for a long time. What Green Lantern is going to take over for John Stewart? I don't know. There's 10 of them right now that could do it just as easily. Simon could jump in there. Jessica Cruz could jump in there. My main girl Jo could jump in there. Like, there's no easy right now. Who would take over Batman? Well, most obvious would be Dick Grayson, because he's done it before, but his book is doing so well that you wouldn't want to do that. Probably do it with Robin, just because it makes sense to end his book for a little bit, hiatus it, do it, whatever. Keep it the same, but make him Batman. Okay, fine, whatever. He's been doing this for a long time. Any of the Batgirls could fit into place. Batwoman doesn't have anything going on right now. Throw her in the mix. They're all been around for a long time. What are we doing? Knocking out Barry Allen? So like Wally West is still around, right? So that's nothing. Wally West has his own goddamn book. Like, no one's worried about him carrying anything. And then the rest I don't care about. Wonder Woman or Aquaman or yeah, you're right. Those characters have less defined. Aqualad and Wonder Girl, but I don't care anyway.
Okay,
so.
all right. It was just a question, a thought that, you know,
I also we're getting. Well, again, I think this is next, right?
I believe so.
We'll get into it again, Lord.
All right, well, let's hit chat really quick. So, Average says, random Christian, but I heard that Deadpool is a Nexus character, and the reason he breaks the fourth wall is due to one of his powers is that he knows he's a comic book character. Patty says, I think a Nexus character is someone like Scarlet Witch who can affect the probability and space and time and stuff, but I also consent to the I don't know how well Deadpool falls under that. Also, She-Hulk can break the fourth wall, but I don't think she's a Nexus being.
She's not important at all. Sorry. I just meant like to the Marvel universe.
Anyway, Stefan says, with your check out Gwenpool definitely qualifies as a Nexus criteria. It's a great book. You're in timeout. Slam says, I would wonder why DC hasn't done a Nightwing Red Hood ongoing, then parallel it with Tim, Damien, and Duke book. Drake is Duke or Drake? Duke.
Hmm?
Who's Duke?
Signal.
Oh, Duke. Got it.
Yeah.
I don't actually know what qualifies a Nexus character. I like that though, Joe. That would be dope. I mean, I think that's going to be his shtick in the MCU as well when he finally shows up. I want to know which is going to be the bigger flop of Marvel series, Miss Marvel or She-Hulk on the MCU TV.
I can already tell you right now it's Miss Marvel, because everyone is bitching about her powers and is not giving the show a chance. I'm also upset about her powers being messed up too, but literally no one is going to give that show a chance because they messed up her powers.
Up her powers. I think She-Hulk's going to be dope, but I can't. I have a bias because I like She-Hulk as a character. I like her current comic book. Would have been. It was close to being my pick of the week last week. I think she's gonna be dope. I think. I believe, and I don't know what the licensing is for She-Hulk, right? Like even Hulk, like it's still such a weird gray area for the MCU. I know we're getting out of comics. It's like they can use her, or they can use Hulk, but he can't have his own movie. Like they can't produce their own movie of Hulk. Like Universal still has that right, but they can be in TV shows. They can have their own TV shows, and they can be in other people's movies. So I think Jennifer Walters is going to kill it. I am optimistic about the actress who's playing Jennifer Walters, because I wanted Allison Brie to play Jennifer Walters. But we're going down a rabbit hole. I don't want to get into that. I think Robin needs to die and stay dead for 2 years. Aaron Paul. Gentry says Marvel's done with Inhumans dirty these past few years. I think they should come back, in my opinion. She-Hulk looks awesome. Reminds me of the original Hulk show. We'll see. I've heard that they've pushed it back production wise, which part of me is upset about that, but then the other part of me is like, no, if you need to take your time to make it look, to do it right and make it look good, if you need to do reshoots or work on the CGI, I'm cool with it. So, also Joe says, all I'm worried about She-Hulk is the CGI budget. Love Moon Knight, but I've seen some CGI problems. I've seen like very small ones, but I have been digging Moon Knight. She-Hulk 3 was so good last week. Not a punch thrown. And it was an entertaining romance book. Not usually my favorite story, but the book feels right. I agree with you, Stefan. It was a great issue. I'm upset about it, though.
Oh.
Because the artist that started on the book is no longer on the book. We got a new artist. The artist is great.
For that book, or
what?
Was it just for that book, or
no? He's gone. He's gone.
Oh.
He said it on Twitter that he was gone. But the new artist is really good. But I really liked the first artist, and I'm a little upset about it. Anyway,
I just don't understand that shit.
I don't get it either. Excited for She-Hulk show as long as they manage to do the CGI well. I think people will love it. It'll be like Suits, but with punching weird comic book court cases. Down. I think they own Hulk's distribution rights, so Marvel Studios wouldn't make money off of the DVDs and Blu-ray. I don't know if that's super true though. Well, She-Hulk is going through a disaster because they don't know how to advertise the show. She-Hulk is one of the favorite characters. I hope we see more Moon Knight. I agree. Looking forward to She-Hulk. She-Hulk has the best covers each week. Agree as well. Let's get back into DC with our next book. Hit the wrong button, and that's Green Lantern. Speaking of green, and that's issue number 12. And this is the one that I was gonna pick up, but then you were like, "Don't pick it up," and now you're like, "Maybe pick it up."
No.
Okay.
Okay. What? The very short synopsis that I can give you is all you need to know. So basically, in a nutshell, all of the shit that has happened in the past 12 issues, all of the destruction that one evil Guardian, did and destroyed Oa and fucked all this shit up is reversed. John officially decides that he is going to fuse with this god power, and he ends up talking to the manifestation of the Source. Where he's like, "Hey man, like you don't need to sacrifice yourself to do this." And he's like, "Nah, I do. I gotta save all my friends. All my friends are depowered, and like Oa's all fucked up, and the battery's not there anymore, and so no more lanterns." And so he's like, "Boom! Look, I'm gonna reignite the battery," and he does that. And then, like, oh man, like Hal Jordan's like, "Wait, I've got my ring back," and then all the lanterns are like, "Oh, we got our rings back," and they all get powerful. It's all very green. And nice, and they're like, "Wait, but John, he's dead. He sacrificed himself." No, he didn't. He's just pencil. They just forgot to ink him and color him. That's it. Don't worry. He's still there. Can you tell?
What? No, he's a ghost.
No, it's literally his color starts coming back. It's actually really cool.
Oh, okay.
Slowly but surely, his color starts coming back. But basically, John sacrifices a massive amount of power to save Oa. Literally, what happens is he essentially reverses the destruction. However you want to say it, he reverses time, or but literally, they're like, at one point, one of the Hawk people. I don't remember what the Hawk people are called, but they're they're in their ship, and they're like, "Our damage has been reversed," and they're like, "Oh, the damage from when we were in the Oa blast." He's like, "No, like our ship is perfect. Like it just came off the lot. It's perfect." And he's like, "Oh, what the heck?" And so the Signal talks to him more and is like, "You have a new purpose, and you got to figure out what it is and what your place is and stuff like that." And basically, this book ends with John being christened a new name. He is no longer just a Green Lantern. He is now the Emerald Knight, and he has this fucking badass sword. And it was fine. Like, the issue was fun. I enjoyed it. I like that we kind of put things back where we still have the core, but we're not exactly sure their direction because the Guardians aren't here anymore. All of our lanterns are still powered. I was not really interested in seeing like Hal Jordan run around and repowering and getting everyone back together. I just wasn't interested in that. But the thing that is very, very, very interested is at the very bottom of this issue, it says John Stewart and the Emerald Knights will return. So John Stewart, who's supposed to be dying in Justice League and being dead, and someone else is taking over as the Green Lantern in the Justice League, has another book coming out. And I'm actually very excited about that. The prospect of it sounds very interesting. But what the fuck? Like it's like Jeffrey Thorne got this story together and told his editor, and his editor's like, "Man, that is badass." And they're like, "Hey, didn't you tell him that John's gonna die?" He's like, "Shut up, just let him write this cool story. Just shut up." And like Jeffrey Thorne writes, and the Green and John Lance, and John Stewart and the Emerald Knights will return. And then they're like, yeah, sure he will, buddy. Like, just write it in there, or like, or it's really gonna happen. And then you're like, okay, well now you've already told me that the character I'm supposed to believe to be dead is already coming back in a new book.
Wasn't that comics? Like that shit happens all the time.
It is comics, but like it's so easy to just not do that. Don't include John Stewart as one of the ones that's supposed to die. Or maybe we're jumping to conclusions. Maybe he doesn't die, because we technically only know for sure that what's her name dies. The screamy one, Black Canary.
Oh,
she's the only one that we have like definitive like confirmation that she's dying, I think.
Interesting.
But I mean, a bunch of them will die.
Gotcha.
So he says, I feel like this leaves the core in an interesting place, but it also feels like this whole 12-issue story was majorly changed so that it could easily be picked up again after Dark Crisis. Totally agree, 110%. It will not go down as one of the best 12-issue arcs, that is for sure. But as a John Stewart fan, I am super excited to see where this puts him in the grand scheme of things. I would love a John Stewart centered book. Maybe Joe can be a sidekick. Come on, please. For the love of God, I'll pay extra money for it.
I think she's gonna be in Justice League, dude. I think she's gonna be the Green Lantern for Justice League.
Stop! Don't.
I think she
Get
is.
my hopes up like that.
I'm telling you, I think it's happening.
Slam says, I love how DC made two godlike characters but completely just dropped them. Wally West, who had Dr. Manhattan's powers, and Metron's chair, and Kyle, who was chosen by the All-Latter Corps. I don't know what any of that stuff is. I apologize for my noobness.
Well, yeah, Wally West was sitting in, the chair. He literally had the powers of Dr. Manhattan, so like he powers of creation and foresight and all that shit, and then he lost it in Dark Knight's Death Metal or whatever. Yeah, that's how he got back.
Got it. Stefan, I don't know who Volcano Lantern Man is, so he was not in this run, or if he was peripheral and was not blowing up into volcanoes.
Okay.
DC needs their own Civil War event or something like it.
I know it was an Elseworld story, but isn't that what DC it's based off of a game?
Oh, Injustice.
Injustice, isn't that basically what that is? It's just not canon. Joe says my pick of the week goes to Black Panther #5, great mystery and action-packed thriller book, and they have teased a new character coming soon.
Well, I actually dropped that book, so I might have to.
Me too. It's funny what you said about Jeff Thorne not knowing about Dark Crisis, because he literally didn't know and found out when everyone else did after the DC announcement. Jesus.
God damn it. Poor guy.
Fuck. That's intense. All right, let's jump into Superman issue number 10, Son of Kal-El.
You take this, I'll be right back.
Yeah. This was actually a lot of fun. I've been waiting for this book to get a little bit more direction. I feel like Tom Taylor has kind of, we had Nightwing jump in. I don't know if Flash jumped in or not. Maybe he didn't. But just this whole Gamora nation thing, I feel like it's been very shapeless, where like we have one form of an identity and then we move to another, and then it just kind of jumps all over the place. And with Nightwing being introduced into these issues, I'm not sure what the real purpose of that was, outside of Nightwing becoming a mentor to John. And I think that was probably the biggest thing. But with him being integrated with the Truth in buying it. I felt like it was kind of like, all right, I don't really care about that. But this issue to me was very surprising, and the reason why it was surprising to me and why this is currently my pick of the week is quite literally a character that is not Superman, and that is Lois Lane. I really enjoyed her being in this book, pulling off what she pulled off, knowing her enemy, and just being a badass mom. I thought it was really cool. And I also liked the tease of John's boyfriend being a bad guy, because I think me and Nate both had kind of come to that conclusion, like the dude's got some bad guy vibes, and I think it was I liked it. I thought that was kind of cool. But I really liked Lois Lane getting under Lex Luthor's skin, pretending to have the lasso of truth, and him being such a weasel that he backed out of it, not knowing if she really had the lasso of truth or not during the press conference. I thought that was really good. And then I also like seeing the genuine fear of people of Earth, and how they don't know if they can trust John, because people are quick to anger and quick to fear. So I thought it was good. I thought it was a lot of fun. Getting to chat, Quika says, it's funny what you said about, or I'm sorry, that's the other one. I like the issue, but I feel like Taylor could have done something more interesting with John coming out after none of us thought Lois would have a problem with it, instead of, the fake out. Why have John explain how he realized he was a bi, since it would give us some good insight into him. Also, John never actually says he's bi, so has Lois just assumed he's gay? Lois was an absolute boss in this issue. Lasso of Truth fake out is pure genius. That's really why this is my pick of the week. I think, and I didn't say this at the beginning of our issue, which is this week had a lot of great moments. There wasn't one book this week that I was just like, that's my pick of the week. I had 3 books that had really awesome moments within the book, and it took time for the book to develop to get to that point. And for me, Superman was it. And I liked Lois just being boss. Like, she just killed it. I mean, she did what Lois does. Now, the fake out with John's sexuality, yeah, that was a little weird. And I don't know. When I was reading it and it was coming, reading it organically, I was like, oh, come on, really? Like, we're going to have you just pulled off this awesome move, and then you're going to do this. And obviously Taylor wrote it that way to kind of make the reader have that kind of reaction. But I agree with you, Krika. I think he could have, there was definitely more meat on the bone for that situation, more specifically because of how we've kind of not propped up, but it's just part of this issue. It's part of this character, right? And to give it more space, I think, is definitely justifiable and should be. I think anytime you get that opportunity, especially for a character who's learning to be who he is and who he's becoming, yeah, I agree with you. Having more pages dedicated to that, I think would have been cool, and it should have happened. But I'm sure we will. But I feel like we kind of called it that the boyfriend might be evil, or because he's a citizen of Gomorrah, right? So you got to think he's not a good guy. Like, he's got some kind of, the other heroes have a chip in them, right? And then they can self-detonate. You got to assume that he's got some form of technology like that as well. And he's probably spying unknowingly on Superman for the country. So we'll wait and see. Joe says, I like how Batman shows up and John didn't know when he asked why. The answer is he's Batman, but Jay might be killed because Lex will want revenge for what happened in this issue. I don't know much about Jay, so I don't know if he's shown to be bad. He hasn't been shown to be bad, but like when he first showed up as the Truth character and he was wearing his mask, I mean, I looked at it and I looked at the character. Excuse me, the character design. It has like new villain vibes, if that makes any sense. Like, I just get things can't go. You would assume can't go that right for your main character, right? Like you just too many good things happen, and something bad's gonna happen. And I just think with John coming out as bisexual, well, I feel like he's gonna be portrayed by his first love, which is or not love, but first boyfriend.
I actually am completely, totally opposite of that now.
Oh, really?
Yes, and here's why.
Okay.
Tom Taylor is smart, and he knows the type of social media backlash that he would get by making a gay character a villain, especially one so iconic as Jay is. Not that Jay himself is iconic, of course, but that he is just the first partner of a gay Superman. And I think Tom Taylor realizes that, yes, let's hint at it for a little bit of suspense in the book. Let's even maybe make it a plot point where John is convinced he's a bad guy and breaks up with him and leaves him for a second. But ultimately, I do not think there is any way that Jay will be portrayed as an actual bad guy. Just because I think the Twitter warriors would be like, oh my God, I can't believe you've done this.
I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he just doesn't know what he's doing. I think, the reason why Batman's saying don't trust Jay is because Jay is a modified human from Gamora. And our current evidence on modified superheroes from Gamora is they have a detonator chip in their brain that'll blow them up. What else can that chip do? They clearly can see through their eyes. So we don't know if Jade, he may have that technology. He may be spying unknowingly on Superman.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I think that's what Taylor's doing. And I think that's what Batman's suspicious of. It's you can't trust him because he's from the nation that's currently trying to kill you. And he doesn't know. He may have something in his head that he doesn't know anything about. So there's that. Where did I leave off? Blah, 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 I don't know how much about Jay. Okay. Empire says, love this issue. It was a great issue, and that's why it's my pick of the week. Gentry is with you, Nate. Whatever. I just like John's suit. No, John's got a dope suit. But no, it's a good issue, and I am... I'm not saying Jay is a bad guy. I just think
I know you're not. I'm saying I thought that. I'm saying I thought at first this guy is going to end up being bad. That was before we had the coming out issue, and I think since then I don't.
Okay. Fair enough. That was my pick of the week.
That's Jim's pick of the week. Boys.
Lee, note it. That's our pick of the week. Or that's my pick of the week. Nate's still coming up.
Yeah.
Next up, we're jumping into our Independence with Nocterra issue number 9. This was also a close pick of the week for me, but I am not digging the current narrative. I get why we're doing it, but I don't really dig the narration change from our main character from the first arc into the granddaughter. I don't care about her. I really don't. I mean, I liked what happened in this issue with her, but I don't really care about her voice in the book. And I'm sorry if that upsets anybody, but that's just where I am at this point. And so the first chunk of this book is a lot of her just talking. And I'm like, okay. But then when we got into the actual like nugget of this issue, like the center, the core, and the attitude came back and the graphic nature of this book came back. I was like, ooh, now we're back. Like Nocterra's back. Give me a reason to not trust Bill, but also give me a reason to trust Bill, right? That's what this book was. That's why this book was awesome.
Yes, I was about to say that. I think that is what was played best in this book was the because you were quite upset about Bill being added to the team last issue, and I was a little iffy about it as well. And I think this is the perfect way to do it. I think this is the way, like, Bill has already proven himself to be way too evil to just, like, be accepted on the team.
Right.
And it kind of felt like that's the way they were going to do it, was just sort of like, well, Bill's on the team now. But no, instead he was chained up the entire time, even though we found out that didn't really matter, that's more of just a gimmick for him to let people feel like they're controlling him. But yeah, I thought it played out really well. I think we were shown truly that this character is evil as much as we might feel a little bit differently about him because he's on the team. No, this is an evil motherfucker. Like, he literally had kid shades or shadows in his in his truck, and having our main character go through like, wait, how did he get them there? Like, were they still normal humans when they went in? Like, did he shade them on purpose? Did he somehow capture shade children? Like,
Yeah.
Shows how bad he is. I agree with the narration change too. I prefer the story through Val's eyes. And it was actually, this issue was a little jarring because we got the traditional opener pre the dark opener, which we did in the first arc, but we haven't gotten in the past couple issues. Where a really quick glimpse into Val and M's life before the darkness came, and then it was like, okay, yeah, I love these little snippets. And then wait, we're back in the dark, and this isn't Valerie's perspective. I was like, wait, who is this kid? Oh,
exactly.
Not her. And so, like, I agree. I feel like that was a little too choppy. That wasn't done very well. But other than that, the art on this book is great. It really makes me want to sort of seek out some of Tony Daniel's other work. I know he had like a Justice League run, I think, with Scott Snyder for a while that I want to check out now. I love the art in this book. It's a lot of fun for me. So,
no, it was a good issue, and I liked that we kind of centered back to trusting / not trusting Bill, and not just immediately trusting him, and because through his past and current actions, I thought it was great. I think tonally we got back to that voice, but the first part of the book, I'm like, I don't like. Let's move. Let's progress, and like I don't need a history lesson. You know what I mean? Like I feel like if you're gonna do that, I feel like the first part of this book would have been a perfect one shot, like they did with Blacktop. With Bill, like just having a one shot of the granddaughter and like, this was my life and this was my they could have done that, and we could have just kept pushing forward towards being chased. And what's the answer to being chased? How are we going to get rid of it? So,
yeah. Empire said Jay is an anti-hero at best. Also, Batman doesn't trust anybody. I wouldn't put too much stock in his wording.
Right.
I totally agree with that. Stefan said I wouldn't want to fight Blacktop Bill in a pit fight. No, not at all. Average Joe said I need more indie books. The only one I have right now is Gunslinger Spawn and Rain. Just picked up 2 volumes of Department of Truth. 3rd volume comes out at the end of this month. That is probably one of the best things we could suggest.
Yep.
I have another suggestion for you in a couple books. But I feel like indie books are slowly becoming like our focus, and so
except for next week.
Yeah. Huh?
Except for next week. Like next week, I don't think we have one. We don't have one.
Because next week is just so short anyway, though. Like next week is just like. Bleh.
Like I think if you consider Nice House on the Lake as an indie, that's it.
It is not. That is a DC book.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, it doesn't. You know what I mean.
Anyway, Gentry was also talking about Superman. Said Jay being from Gomorrah is a biblical illusion. Sister city to Sodom. Wow, am I an idiot? I've never thought of that. Literally every time I hear Gomorrah from the Superman story, I think of Gomorrah, the character from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
The story is often interpreted as one where homosexuality is condemned. Feels a bit too on the nose to make that illusion if Jay is in fact evil. I think you're right, and I didn't even think of that. There's no way he's evil. Tom Taylor would never do that.
I'm not saying he's evil. I'm just saying he's being
I can't
controlled.
believe that James said that he wants him to be evil. That's a good point. I can't believe that I did not even make.
He's
that
being
connection.
controlled by an evil person.
Aha! Whatever.
Rain, issue number 4. Please tell me about it. Did it bounce back?
It bounced back a little bit.
Just
because we had shit happen. The last issue didn't really have shit happen. So this issue we pick up where we left off, and well, God, what was her name? Fucking like Primrose or something like that. I can't remember. it's a silly name. But,
Yeah.
and of course now I'm getting stuck into that half. Nope, I don't remember. But she's driving this tractor right towards Denver, and there's the bad guy holding the gun in the back, and he's like, you're gonna drive me all the way to Canada or some shit. And then she remembers this time where Yolanda says that she saw a stick up in a convenience store and just walked out. And she's like, I can be that brave. And so she like purposely wrecks the tractor, and the guy smashes his head and like is concussed or dead. We don't know. He's like bleeding from the head, and she's like, okay, bye. So then she walks the rest of the way. I thought this whole entire issue was going to be her journey trying to get to Yolanda's dad's house. And I was going to be disappointed if that was what happened. And nope, we get to his house in like 3 pages, which I was like, okay, great. And then we find out that he's been brutally beaten and tied up to the fence and left outside to die by rain needles. And I was like, fuck. Like this, she went this whole way. She just watched her girlfriend and her girlfriend's mom get obliterated by these needles. She just traveled from one city to the next, seeing the destruction. And not only did she find out that he didn't make it either, but he has been essentially tortured and left out to die. And it turns out it was a neighbor who was angry with Yolanda's dad because Yolanda's dad was a pastor who had a gay daughter, and he accepted his gay daughter and was like, well, this is just modern day Sodom and Gomorrah, and this is revenge from God because of people like you who support gay people. And so Primrose, that's her name, came to me now. Primrose decides to sleep there before she's going to head back to her original house to hopefully see if the little boy made it back. And while she's sleeping, that guy that was yelling at her about, as to how it was her fault for being gay, sneaks into the house and is in attempts to kill her. What he didn't know is the body that he stabbed that's under the covers was Yolanda's dad, because she was sad and drugged him into the house and put a blanket over him. And so instead, she gets the one up on him and knocks him out with a cast iron. And then she too ties him up outside after beating the shit out of him and leaves him outside to die in the needles rain. And then I was like, okay, well, we're definitely gonna take the whole issue just to journey back to Jackdaw Street, where she came from. And no, 2 pages, and she's like, oh yeah, I got back really quickly. It was super easy. I was like, okay. And so she's back, and that guy that helped her at the end of issue 1 and issue 2, or 2 and 3, I don't remember. He made it back with the little kid, Templeton. They're fine, but then it leaves off on a really awkward cliffhanger. It's she's like, oh, maybe I can hope. Why not fill myself with hope that they made it back? And then she sees them, and she's like, okay, that's good. She said, oh yeah, why not fill up with hope? It wouldn't take long for me to find out that hope wasn't on Jackdaw Street after all. The end. So I don't know. Well, I don't know where we're going with this.
It's one more issue, yeah?
One more issue. We'll see where it goes. I feel like the next issue will really make or break the series. It has the very melancholy, slightly depressed indie vibe that I thought it was going to have back in this issue. We didn't have that in the previous one, but I feel like we're just roaming without a moral or a story or an end. Why are we telling the story? Why are you making me sad?
Right.
What's the reason? And I really hope that we can get delivered an actual reason in the final issue, because right now it just seems like these guys just kind of wanted to make us sad.
Okay. We'll see.
All right. Hold on. Oh, wait.
Did you have this book?
No.
Okay. So for some reason, no, I don't think it did. I think Comic League's League of Geeks lied to us. So
got it. No, I did not have that book. Before we move on, Average Joe said the first trade of Department of Truth is 1 through 5, and the second is 8 through 12. So what's up with 6 through 7? That is a great question, and then that is confusing. So
it's a deviation, right? It's like a history lesson back.
Essentially, yes. So
yeah.
Issues 6 and 7 will be tied into with issues 13, 14, and 15 in volume 3, which, like you said, comes out at the end of the month. Issues 1 through 5 is the setup arc, essentially. Issue 6 and 7 came out, and then I believe something happened with Martin Simmons where he had to have an extended hiatus on the issues 8 through 12 are the history lessons of various conspiracy theories and stuff like that. That was the guest artist arc. All of it makes sense. It is perfectly fine to read it in that order. You won't be confused if you do read it in that order in the slightest bit. They very much did it that way on purpose, releasing it that way. I would say if you're a purist and just you absolutely have to read the issues in order, just wait till go ahead and read volume 1 now to get excited, and then when volume 3 comes out, read 6 and 7, go back to the second, read all of those, and then go back to the third. But again, you will have no issue reading it in the way that they've presented it to you. It will not be confusing at all, the slightest bit.
There you go.
So.
Perfect. All right, next up in our reading list, we have Radio Spaceman, issue number 2 of 2. This definitely ended, knowing the context of the book, which is Mike Magnolia wrote this during the pandemic. He was just like sketching things, and he essentially created this story arc during the pandemic and was like, I'm just gonna publish it and put it out there and see what happens. And the first issue was like, whoa, what is this? This is crazy mystery. And then we get into the second issue and it's like, what the fuck is going on? Wait, what? She's a vampire? Wait a minute, huh? The end.
Her sister was a witch.
It's just
what is happening?
The second issue felt, I was like, the issue 1 made sense for you to have questions, right? Like to be like, oh yeah, because that's gonna get explained in issue 2. And then you get into issue 2 and it's like, no, you should know. Like, it felt like it when I was reading, it was like, no, you should know what the fuck's going on, you moron. Like, that's how I read it. I might be a dumbass. I might, Robbie, if you ever watch this, and because I know you're way more versed in this, you let me know. Am I off here? Am I off? Is my interpretation just stupid because I've never read, Hellboy and stuff like that? And is that just the style? Because when this book ended, I was like, huh? What happened? Like, even the main character was like, huh? What happened? Like, shit got weird. Like, and not weird, and I don't think in a good way. More like a fever, like, hey, and I'm done. I just want to get it done. I don't know why I did this. That's what it felt like. That's exactly why issue 2 to me, like, that's what it felt like. I was like, I don't know why I made this. I kind of just wanted to do it and see what happens. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know what I was expecting. It was fun, but at the end, I was totally lost. Like okay, at the end of issue 1, our doctor who Radio Spaceman is going to save is about to be sacrificed. And in this book, she's about to be sacrificed again. And then Spaceman comes to save her, kills the guy that's about to sacrifice her, which ends up being the sacrifice that's needed to resurrect a giant frog monster that in turn fights 3 other monsters, because a prophecy has said that if that monster is to be awakened, these other monsters will come and fight it to kill it to make sure that its evil doesn't spread. Yes. And then there's this space vampire lady who's there that I think is part of the ritual as well, and tries to convince Radio Spaceman and the Doctor to join her. But then the sacrificed Doctor ends up becoming a vampire already and kills her, and then they get in a spaceship and leave. That's the book.
Okay, well.
Like, I know it sounds like we just reviewed this book, but we reviewed this book. Yeah. Okay? Like, it was weird. I mean, one got me here, 2 got me to, like, I don't know, like, I'm not on the scale. I don't know where I'm going with this book. Do I want more? I don't know. Like,
is there more?
I don't think there is, but at the same time, I believe there's something here to this character. I genuinely like the idea of the character, Radio Spaceman. The characters around them, I don't know what the fuck's going on there. Like, I got done reading it going like, am I up too late? Did I not drink enough water today? Like, where am I? So
that's funny.
There's that. All right, The Rush, issue number 5.
If that came out, I did not get it.
Oh no. Seven Secrets.
Did that come out, really?
I don't know. Like, we had it in, dude, we did, remember, we shot that video 2 weeks ago. It saved our asses because we pre-recorded 2 new comic book day videos. So, Patty, whack, yo.
Yeah, that was not on my list, so I did not get it.
All right, well, let's maybe either League fucked up or we didn't get our book. So, Seven Secrets, issue number 16. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, wow, wow.
That's dates.
Yeah.
Yo, this was a good issue.
Oh man, I love this.
But
book.
I
Joe,
will let you.
If you're not reading this book, my man, you got to read this book.
I will let you do your review and tell us what you thought. But I have one critique. But go ahead.
Okay, sure, you can have a critique.
Yeah.
So this is really like a what am I trying to say? Like a crescendo build up to our climax of this story. If not, probably the actual climax of the story here.
Dig it.
So we're basically going to the fairy world that was introduced in that 2-issue arc back in like issue 6 and 7. And this is where the end all be all is. We're all running to the same thing. We're trying to chase the bad guys. The bad guys get to the time warping place first. They got a little baby demon, and they're like, "Hey, we need this baby demon to be an adult really quick." And these fairies are like, "Hey, we got this little space, and you walk in there, then you get old quick, and then you come out. It's not a big deal. Don't worry about it." Aging cave, yeah. Don't worry. Aging cave.
Cave.
Come on in. You want to be older than you are now? Come on in. You want to fuse with a big giant baby monster and then have a bunch of eyeballs? Let's do it, because that's what happens. Our main bad guy, who turns out it was the son of the lady who was running the secret program, and then she gets killed, and he's dating Kanto, who's the guy with the mask who we really like, and he's like, "Nah, you made all the sacrifices, let me go in." And Kanto's all sad and is like, looks at the fairy and is like, "Hey, like, is my boyfriend gonna make it out? Is he gonna be okay? Is he gonna die?" And she's like, "Oh no, it's gonna be way worse than that. way worse than that." It is. He fuses with the demon. He comes out 6 eyeballs, turns into a bit like he literally grows like 30 feet in the air.
Yep.
Meanwhile, all of the good guys are going to meet with an apparent king and queen that live there. This guy's like motherfucking King Arthur. He's got Excalibur and everything. He meets our queen, who is the current actual monarch of England, and is like, "Oh, I used to be a monarch of England once too, Britain. Yes, totally." And he's like, I think it's so cool that there's a warrior female queen." And he sticks his sword into a rock and is like, "If you're really the queen, pull it out." And before he can even finish it, she like pulls it out and is like, "So I can keep this, right? This is mine. That's what you said. You said if I can pull it out, it's mine." And so he's just like,
died.
Fuck.
Yeah,
Damn
it's
it,
like that's like the
Excalibur.
best anime moment in this book, because like they do all the expressions, like she's like swinging around, she's like, "Ha ha ha."
Yeah. Deculo Di Nicuolo. Man, I cannot say his name.
You're good.
But he fucking blew it out of the park. Like his art is so good, but I feel like this issue, like he like spent some time, and it was just like, I'm losing some sleep to make sure this is an absolutely gorgeous issue.
Right.
So now we're all ready for war, right? We've got our giant demon baby monster mixture with 6 eyes, and we've got our main character who can fly, and we've got the queen with Excalibur, and we're gonna go fight a war, and we get some awesome fighting pages. And then this is when the demon guy actually emerges, and then promptly cuts off Casper's head. He's like, "Oh, that's where my story ends," and now he has no head. But there's still 2 issues left.
So we knew Casper was gonna die. Like we've known that since like issue like 6 or 7, maybe even sooner, maybe like 4. I like this book. I like where we're going with it. My problem, or my critique, I'll say. I won't say my problem. What is one of the most consistent things that we've said about Tom Taylor on books that we like and start off really well, and then it's like, wrap it up. Right? We know, and unfortunately we know, that this book ends at 18.
Yeah.
Right? And Dark Ages. started off awesome, had really good potential, and then it was like, oh, by the way, it's only 6 issues. I'm done.
Yeah.
Right? This book opens up so many doors and possibilities and lore and character development that we're never going to get. At least we don't think we're going to get. We think it's over at 18. That's what we've been told.
It is over at 18, 100%. Like that's, there's no doubt about that. It's over at 18.
I just
now,
want,
if they pick up the book again sometime in the future,
Right.
maybe, but like
they could. But like, there are so many moments in this issue alone that are like, oh, you don't remember me? I tried to stab you when you were a baby. Oh, you don't remember me? You used to eat at this table all the time and eat a shit ton of food when you were a kid. There's all this development that we're not going to get. Right? And I'm like, wait, but who are these characters? And I know Tom Taylor. Yes.
No.
Yes.
Nope,
yes.
you're 100%
Yes.
wrong. You're
Here's
100%
why I'm pissed, Nate, is because yes, I know I bitched about the Fairyland at the beginning when they first showed it, right? But they didn't show this, right? When we saw the new bad guy, that the elf chick that was like, 8 feet fucking tall, that was like, hey, go into this cave and you'll age with the demon and you'll be Super Saiyan Demon Boy, right? Yeah. I want to know more about that character. I want, like, we had all this development with Casper that he didn't even know about. He forgot about it, right? And suddenly he can fly. And I'm like, well, how did we get there?
But it wasn't relevant. That's the whole point.
I think
it was It's literally not. It was never relevant to the story. You weren't ever supposed to know who these characters are. It's not, oh, I didn't have time to teach you about them. It's supposed to make you feel like it's a world that was lived in without taking 20 years to explain to you every character.
No. I'm not saying 20 years, but what I'm saying is, okay, let's start at the beginning of the book, right? We were like, oh, this is a really cool espionage spy book, right? And it was going in that direction, like Knights of Templar and whatever, secrets. And then what issue was it when it was like, hey, fairies? 6. And you're like, huh? Like, what's going on? Suddenly Casper can fly, right? And it's not a bad thing. This book is fantastic, but I feel like we're rushing to the end. This issue specifically, I felt like we've been building and building and building and building. Like when we got the council of the other group, and then the main bad guy, the son, wiped out part of the council, and I was like, ooh, I want more of that. Why are they worshiping this demon? And I'm sure we'll get some kind of explanation by the end of the book at 18. But I feel like there's more story here that I don't think Tom Taylor wants to write. Like I'd want it to go past 18. I think there's enough material to go past 18.
Well, there is. I mean, but there always is, right? Like there always is
sometimes
more that you could do.
Yeah, I guess. But it feels like, in my opinion, that there's stuff being left on like the dad, for instance, right? Like he's back. He's been back for 4 issues, and we've seen him. We've seen him twice. Just saying.
That has been dropped. That is a good example of something that has been dropped. Now we still have 2 issues, so it could get picked back up. Yeah, that's a good example of something that's been dropped. I'm not saying if you had told me, like 4 issues ago, if you had asked me how many issues do you think that Tom Taylor and Nicola will take this, I would have said they'll probably go saga. Like they'll probably do 50s. Like they'll probably try to follow that realm, about 50.
Yeah.
And so the fact that we're ending at 18 is a shock, because this has been written so well that it could go on forever. Like there's so many nooks and crannies. But ultimately what Taylor and Nicola are trying to tell you is we were just trying to tell you this one main story.
I know. They're wrong.
Well,
they're wrong.
I don't know what to tell you.
I wish there was more. I guess what I'm saying is there's so much stuff that we've built up and we've put in new characters, and I'm like, wait, but there were so many that I understand killing off characters, right? Like we've killed off a lot of characters that we've grown to like, and that's the nobody's safe idea, right? And shit, we got it in this issue. Casper literally got his head cut off. We knew it was coming, yet it was still an oh shit. Yeah. It was still an oh shit moment. Like when it happened, I was like, oh, I knew that was coming, but god damn it, that was crazy. You know, and that will continue. But I just think there's.
By the way, Average Joe, because Average Joe just said that he just ordered Volume 1. That's awesome.
Good.
That is not a spoiler that Casper gets his head cut off. You actually find that out in issue 1 that's going to happen.
Like he's going to die.
So that's always been a backdrop of this series. It's like, and that's how I died, like in the first issue. So,
which I need to go back. We need to go back to and read that and like see how like.
Yes. Yeah. When I do it with this beautiful volume that I already have. Yeah. Because I love this series so much.
Which you did. Here's another thing, Joe. I don't know if you know. He was not at all excited to read this book. We got it as a preview, and I remember sending it to him from our LCS, and he was like, yeah, I don't know, dude, this artwork sucks. And now he's like, oh my god, this artwork's amazing. So it's definitely flipped. I
still have an issue 1 in a CGC 9. You have the 9.8. I have the 9.6.
Do you have the 9.8? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because I thought about giving it away.
Wow.
Well, I don't know. Maybe we still will. I don't know. Anyway, 7 Secrets is Nate's pick of the week.
That's Nate's pick of the week.
It's good. Okay, like don't get me wrong. It's really good. I feel like Tom Taylor's like he doesn't want to. I don't know. I guess I'm creating a boogeyman, but I just feel like he doesn't.
You're just being bitter.
I am bitter. I want it to keep going. I want to devote an entire short box to 7 Secrets, not a little bit.
I totally agree.
That's issue 84 of Two Fat Guys Pool List. Very good. We will see you guys this Wednesday when we have another new comic book day for the week of April 20th. Because it's going to be 420.
Oh, it is.
It is 420. It's a very short week. We don't got that many books. We've got some good books, but we don't have that many books. So we will definitely see you guys this Wednesday for New Comic Book Day, and then again next Sunday for another live issue of Two Fat Guys Pool List, issue number 85. We want to thank everybody that has been on live with us in the chat. We appreciate you so much. Anybody that's watching this as a past issue, again, we appreciate you as well. If you're not subscribed already, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. If you know anybody that loves comics and hasn't, that's right, give us a like. If you know anybody that likes comics and doesn't watch our show, make sure to introduce our show to them. We've got to get that subscription up so we can get to 650 and then onward to 1,000. What someone says, when is the wizard coming back? I don't know.
The wizard.
I've actually opened a lot of cards not streaming it. It's just because I've been so busy that I just kind of open it. Wait, let me just show you. So the most recent 2 sets came out, Time Gazer and Space Juggler. So yeah, right. Check that out. Boom. This is the most recent set that came out last week, right? And then
got them all?
No, I don't got them all. Are you crazy? There's no way you can. There's one secret rare in each booster box, and right now a box goes for anywhere from $90 to $109. So that's the chase card for one of the sets. I don't have the chase card for the other, so I got that. And then I also opened the other set. Battle Legions, I think, is the other one. So we got all these. So I've been doing some opening lately that I haven't been filming. So at some point, for sure, Shuffle Wizard will be back for sure. Just don't know when. I've been opening a lot of Brilliant Stars as well because I'm trying to get that secret full art Charizard V. I did get this guy, which everybody knows about that. And I actually have 3 non-rainbow Charizard V stars. So these are cards worth about $22. So I got 3 of these bad boys. I'm actually thinking about sending one to get graded. Because the rainbow rare is just off on the centering. But, it is what it is. Anyway, that was a tangent. Yes, we will see you guys this Sunday. Again, if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. If you know anybody that doesn't know of our show and you think they'd be interested, make sure to share our show. Get it out to the masses. Let them know we exist. We want to build this community, and we can't do it without y'all. So, again, thanks for everybody that has watched and that is watching this live and is watching this as a past episode. And we will see you guys next week. We'll see you on Wednesday. And happy Easter to everybody, obviously. And everybody stay safe. Read more comics. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. What'd you say?
I said Zombie Jesus Day.
Oh my god. We'll see you guys later. Zombie Jesus
the
Day.
man rose from the dead. That's what a zombie does.
Have you seen there's like a TikTok, and I know we're still live, and I know this, but there's a TikTok of like this group of people like dancing around this one guy, and it's like, yeah. And then like they pick him up and they're like, yeah. And they're just like dancing. And it's like Jesus and his disciples on the third day. Like, it's freaking awesome. Anyway, thanks guys. We'll see y'all later.